This is part 2 of the Donut Shop Sabotage Saga with me, your host, Kendra Fierce. And this is real life. And if you're just checking in, this is the story about how a fraudulent investor is trying to steal my donut business in Costa Rica and how I'm dealing with it, the facts, the who's, what's, where's, why's. And if you haven't seen part 1, I've tagged it in the caption. Let's get to it. Who really owns the equipment and the assets? That is obviously probably what the disagreement is about. The investor seems to think that he owns everything that he swiped his card for. Unfortunately, that's not how things work. And this is to protect people from taking back gifts, from situations like this. Whoever name the equipment is in is who owns it. And the entire investment of the first batch of equipment, most of it, is under my name. The cameras are under my company name. A lot of things are directly under my name. However, there are still a few things that aren't. And those are the things that he is going to the police and saying, I've now stolen. Pretty much he's gone through everything that he knows that isn't in my name and has said I've stolen these things. As you can see, this is a story worth telling because as you can see, crazy things can happen and I don't want this to happen to you. When it comes to that situation, I basically need to prove that we've had a deal about these things. So I have to go through the entire conversation for almost 8 months for when we were purchasing the donut machine, because he's put that on there that I've stolen a donut machine that weighs literally 200 pounds, but okay, I just stole it, and stuff like that. But right in the conversation about the donut machine, it says it's your shop, choose whichever one you want. So there's conversations here and there about all of these things that he's saying that I've stolen. So yes, when it comes to the equipment, it's in my name, but I never planned on taking it. At this point, I could literally, I think because we don't have a deal, I don't think I have to pay him back anything, really. If it's in my name, I could be that. But I'm not. I believe in karma, and that was never the plan. But the amount of sabotage and defamation this guy has now done toward me to try and literally destroy me, we'll see where I stand after this. And maybe you can let me know what you think I should do in the comments. So, how was the business originally structured or planned to be? It was that I owned 100% of it. And again, in the conversations that we have, there's many times where he said, it's your business, do what you want. I would ask him, hey, what should we do? And he'd say, it's your business, do what you want. There's many, many times in the conversation this has happened. So how it was structured was that I was gonna operate the entire thing. He wanted to just sit back and collect profits. That's what he said. He said, I don't wanna be a part of it. He's an older gentleman. He said, I don't want to do it. I just want to collect the profits. You can do everything. And that was the deal. And that's why we had the initial deal that I would also get provided with the motorcycle, the laptop, and the cell phone to do all the work and have no income for however long it took to build the business. And so that was our side deal. And then our business deal was, no payback on the investment and just a percentage of profits, but never made it into paper. And because due to his sabotage, there's no way I would agree to it now, and there's no way I would ever have to, because clearly does not have the best interests of the business at heart at all. Were you being paid or no? The entire time I was building the business, I was not getting paid anything. And I also think this was part of his control structure. So because it took, I think, 4 months for us to build and get the shop open, and it still wasn't open legally, and I didn't even know that till a couple weeks ago. So, but I'll talk about that later. Yeah, I wasn't getting paid anything. I had no income for 4.5 months while we were getting it open, and obviously I can't make an income unless there's profits. I'm on a tourist visa. So I literally cannot even make money until the shop makes money. So do you think the shop was making money in the first couple months with a whole roster of staff? Heck no. I just pretty much spent every single day doing everything, building everything, finding all the suppliers, doing all the recipes, doing all the interviews, doing all the contracts, literally everything, building a business from scratch, a brick and mortar business in a busy tourist town in a foreign country. So keep in mind, everything I did in English, I also had to do it in Espanol. And then I also had to get it checked to make sure that the Espanol was correct. So everything I had to do it twice. So the website had to do it twice because I had to do it in English, then I had to translate the whole thing into Spanish manually. It was an aggressive amount of work. It literally required every bit of my energy, mental, emotionally, spiritually, every single thing. And I didn't get paid for any of that time. None of it. And then 9 days in, he assumes that none of that time matters. I think that's what hurts me the most, is that he thinks just because he swiped his card that none of those hundreds of hours that I put in building it mattered. Did the investor try to sabotage the business? Heck yeah. So once he couldn't take it over on the first, And the cops were like, you can't do that. I called the lawyer and I said, hey man, he tried to take over the whole thing, change the locks. Like, what the heck? This is crazy. You can't do this. I need you to talk to him. Like, he's out of control. This is not okay. This is my livelihood. This is my life. I don't have backup here. Sort this out. And he said, okay, I will, but just let me know. I'm on vacation. He made it very clear we were interrupting his vacation. He said he called them and he said he wants to do an inventory right now. And I said, I can't do it right now. I can't do it right now. We're doing other things. I said, but he can come on Monday, but I want a third party there. I'm not doing it with just him and me. I don't feel safe around him. And he said, okay, we'll get a notary there and we'll do it properly Monday. And I said, sure, just tell me the time. And nobody showed up. And to be honest, my big mistake, another mistake number 2, is that I thought everything was okay. I thought he was going to give me a chance to rebuild the business and then pay him back. I thought the lawyer was going to message me and say, okay, here's how much you owe, because I told the lawyer I clearly can't work with him because I can't have him deciding he's going to take over the business 9 days in out of nowhere. That's like not okay behavior. And the lawyer agreed. Anybody could agree with that, I think. And no business partner is going to work with that. So I said, I'll happily pay him for what he paid into it, but I need a couple of months to get back on track. He sabotaged the entire team, including my character, to all of these people, which I will have to rebuild the trust with these guys. And it never happened, to be honest. I was never able to rebuild from that. It was horrible. Honestly, I wish I would have just started fresh, but that's okay. He tried to sabotage it continually since then. So on top of him doing that first thing that he did, I thought he was just going to let me go, and no, he did not. Just recently, I was sent a photo of a flyer from the landlord saying, I don't know if you know about this, but it got sent to me. The investor decided to try and protest my store because he saw it was doing well. So it took me 3 months, but after 3 months and working my butt off, we were starting to do well. We had, I think, like 15 5-star reviews. We had a lot of regular customers. The shop was almost paying for itself, which, guys, after 3 months, a brick and mortar business paying for itself, anybody who owns a business is like, yeah, that's like pretty chill. And I was like really pumped up, and he saw that. And he was like, nope, not gonna let that happen, which is weird because how does he think he's gonna get his money back? But anyways, he's clearly not thinking logically. Yeah, he put these posters around the town, a lot of them, him and his daughter did, trying to protest my store. Obviously, no one showed up. I didn't see anything. I saw it the day after they were supposed to protest. No one was there. We were literally working the whole day. And so I saw the posters and I was like, oh my God, what is this? And initially, I thought it was somebody else doing it. It wasn't. When I found out it was him, I just got my staff members to go around and take them down, and they had no problems doing it. And I thought that'd be the end of it. I was like, wow, okay, that's past. That's aggressive, but okay. Wow, like, whatever. And then, because that didn't work, they made a digital poster. Him and his daughter made a digital poster saying all these horrible things, that I'm operating illegally, that all of these things, that I have stolen equipment. And then he tried to give out any personal information he had about me. But luckily, because of my social media stuff, I knew better than to give him pretty much anything. He had my first name, part of my middle name, and my last name, and then the city that I was from, which he directly put on that poster. He was like, Kendra, blah, 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 from Calgary, Alberta. I don't even live there anymore. What's that gonna do? But he was literally just trying to give away any information to get anybody. And then he directly put on the poster that people need to go to review me on Google poorly. And people did, because it's the internet, right? Obviously, Google removed most of the reviews except 2 of them, which I'm still working on. But yeah, he just literally told a bunch of strangers to trash my business over this. So I was like, what the heck is going on? Like, this is insane. Like, what are you doing? You are a 60-year-old man. How do you expect to ever get your money back if you've now trashed the business that you're trying to take over? So they were reviewing it, saying there's worms in the food, that we are unsanitary, that all of these things, like, these reviews were out of control. They were just out of control. And so I was like, what is going on? And then I had a bunch of people, because I got eyes around, who were like, yeah, it's this poster. And I was like, oh, and then they took screenshots. You know what this investor, this 60-year-old man, was doing from his porch every day? He was on Facebook, where he had changed his Facebook name to like this man-Jew something, but he doesn't know how Facebook works properly because he doesn't understand the internet. And he didn't realize that he had left the photos of him trying to sell the motorcycle that he accused me of stealing, that I had given back. I give the keys back because I don't remember if I said that in the other thing. He accused me of stealing the motorcycle we had a deal about, so I gave the keys back. and said, just take it. I'm not even going to deal with that. And he was trying to sell that exact motorcycle. So he didn't realize that that would be still there. So I took screenshots of it because I initially thought it was a stranger passing around this thing. And no, it was this guy and his 22-year-old daughter just posting it on any Facebook account they could. Any two people that would give them an ear, they were like, yeah. And they were like, what? She's doing what? They don't even know me. These people don't even know me, and they're going trash me on Google. Don't be one of those people. You gotta get the facts first. But anyways, and then I took a bunch of screenshots, and then I had to make a post. So I said, hey, there's someone trying to defame my business and me around town. I wasn't going to say anything, but because we're in court proceedings about this, we're going to be. And I just didn't want to give it attention, but here are the facts. I built this business alone. I own it. I'm the only one on the lease. I said 9 days in, this guy tried to take over the business and I didn't let it happen. So every time he sees me doing good, he tries to sabotage it. I just gave the facts, and a ton of people were like, oh my God, really? This is so horrible. I was like, yeah, it is. It's really horrible. And I've been dealing with it for months, and now he's doing this on top of it. And yeah, basically it backfired because I had a new app in the area be like, we want to work with you. I had a new cafe be like, we want to work with you. But in the middle of me dealing with this, I found out that yes, this shady lawyer that charged us $2,200 for corporation paperwork, which I found is about $600 to $800 on average, totally scammed us. Didn't finish, only did the corporation paperwork, didn't submit anything for the commercial patente properly at all. He didn't submit any of it. Told us we did, tried to charge us before he did any of it, told me to open the business, and I didn't know any of this because I just went off what he said. Luckily, I have a voice note of him telling me to open it. Yeah, basically I found out that we were missing a bunch of paperwork, so I'm just getting that taken care of. So what the best situation is right now is I'm just creating a new corporation. I'm not even involving these guys anymore. They don't have to be a part of anything. I've already talked to the landlord. The landlord knows. He asked what's going on with this investor, and I gave him all the facts. I said, hey, I might get emotional about things not being fixed if I have to ask you many times, but this guy has done this, and this. Obviously, these things aren't true. And he's like, yeah, I can tell, like, this is not, I don't want to deal with him. And I said, yeah, neither do I. I said, we're going to get a new corporation, and are you okay changing the lease? And he said, yeah, no problems. Yeah, let's just get rid of him. I'm in the process of creating a new corporation so that I can just get him out of here. I don't have to deal with him at all. So we're going to create the new corporation, which can be done in 24 hours. Guess how long it took the other shady lawyer to do it? Literally weeks. It takes 24 hours. But yeah, so did he sabotage it? Yeah, many times. Does he continually try? Yes. Did he go to the cops and report me for theft also of things I didn't steal? Yeah. So sabotage my business, my personal, and my status here in Costa Rica at a place that I literally sold my entire house of contents to come to. He doesn't care. This guy is reckless, and he doesn't care. And I have a few ideas of why he's doing this, but I will never know fully how someone could sleep at night doing these kinds of things to somebody who's literally done nothing but try and open a donut business. How much did this situation set you back financially? Upwards of 25 grand, like over $25,000. So as mentioned, we had a deal for the motorcycle and the laptop and the phone. But when he tried to report me for theft of the motorcycle, when I went to the cops, I just gave the key back. I said, I'm not going to deal with that. Here it is. Here's the key back. I'm not dealing with that. On that minute, I had to buy transportation because I live in a small town and there's no way to get around, and I own a business that's 2 towns away from where I live. So I had to call my family and get help. We had to spend $2,500 on the spot to get a new motorcycle. Right then, that was the start of it. And then same week was the order was due, so that was another $300 or $400, and just the stress of like dealing with the situation and all of the sabotage. Obviously, I wasn't able to operate the business effectively because on top of that, the team didn't trust me. So they were showing up late, they were stealing things from me, they were stealing products. One girl drank 15 iced coffees. One girl drank 15 iced coffees, and then she would just casually treat, like we had a toppings bar, she just casually treat it like a salad bar. She'd just graze and eat all of the stuff out of it. I'm not even joking. They would constantly show up late and just, it didn't matter. They just didn't even care because they didn't trust me or respect me anymore. It was wild. I had a couple people who was trying to find a new baker because I had to let the other baker and that executive assistant go because obviously I couldn't trust them at all. I tried to train a new baker. And I was a couple days late paying the staff because I needed to get a transfer sent to me from Canada from my parents to pay them because it was thousands of dollars. And it just takes a couple of days to get money. And it takes a couple of days for me to take all of the money out of the bank because I have limits on my cards. I can't change that. I told them all in advance. And this one girl just straight up demanded, if you don't pay me everything right now, I'm gonna quit. And I said, well, I can't do that. There's like 5 other people who are waiting the extra days. And so she just didn't show up anymore. And I had been training her for a baker for like 3 weeks, and she was the baker, and she just quit on the spot over like that. And it was like, I can't take threats, and I'm doing the best I can. I have to pay this out of my personal funds. So yeah, it was really hard. There was like, not only did it set me back financially initially, I had to take on all of the wages, and I really struggled paying them. My family covered most of them, and when we couldn't cover them, people started getting really mad at me. And instead of getting mad at the guy who started all of this, they just started attacking me one by one. And it was really hard to deal with because I was there every single day, and they could see me working. And I was explaining to them, you know, like, this investor was supposed to cover this for the first 3 months. We had a deal of that. I told him, hey, I need the first 3 months of help so that I can do the marketing plan. And we lost that. So not only did I have to take up the financial responsibility, the mental load of the sabotage, and then like running the business by myself unexpectedly, everything, it was just like dropped on me. And I just tried so hard, and I didn't do my best. I mean, I did my best, but like it wasn't what people wanted. And again, it was really hard to deal with them just attacking me like that. So, and I feel like if I would have just started with a new team, I wouldn't have had to deal with that. And I had 65 people apply for jobs. So one thing I would change, another regret, is I should have just let all the people who left with that guy leave. Instead of feeling the need to prove myself to them, which I did, I said, hey, no, you know, come back. I own this business. I'll show you this. This guy just bought equipment, which is what an investor does. And I talked people into like asking them if they wanted to come back and try again. I shouldn't have done that. I should have just let them go. But I didn't. So that was a mistake that I made, and it came back to bite me hard. Yeah, still regretting that to this day. Are you reopening the business? The business stayed open for months and months and months after the first sabotage, but after I found out that a whole bunch of this paperwork wasn't done, I voluntarily chose to close the business. So the municipality came and said to everybody, they didn't just come to me, it wasn't because of the posters or anything, they came down all of Santa Teresa on a huge crackdown. They said, hey, like, we're supposed to close you for 30 days because this paperwork isn't done. And I said, hey, I didn't know, because I really didn't. And they said, do you have this? And I said, yes. They said, are you the only one on the lease? I said, yeah. And they said, do you have this? And I had literally all the paperwork you need to submit to get the commercial patente that we were missing. And I said, I was told by the lawyer that this was all submitted. And I have a voice note of this, but they speak Spanish and the voice note's in English. I said, but I will submit it as soon as possible. I said, if you let me voluntarily close and don't put a sign on my door saying closed by the municipality, because that's the last thing I need on top of the defamation and sabotage from this guy, I'll do it. And they let me. They said, okay, no problem. So they let me voluntarily close. So I just have I've been closed now though for 2 weeks, which is really stressful. I don't know how long it'll be by the time I post this video or when you'll see this video, but yeah, it's, you know, we had the paperwork for the old corporation, but since then, talking to a couple lawyers, I've decided it's just in my best interest to start a new corporation. Doesn't involve the shady lawyer, and it doesn't involve the fraudulent investor or any of the drama. So yeah, that's kind of where we're at with that is, yeah, I will definitely be opening the business without him. And if it comes down to the fact that he takes back all of the equipment, which it's in my name, but if that's the worst case, I thought about the worst case scenario, then I'll just raise money to remake it. The special sauce of the business is me and my baking. It was never the equipment. So if he doesn't think that I can't make donuts without a donut machine, like, dude, people have been making donuts without donut machines since forever. I don't need a $5,000 donut machine to do it. He thinks that if he takes away everything, that it will sink me. Bro, I literally built my cake business from the scratch, from nothing, from the ground up, without a huge investment of the then tens of thousands of dollars or whatever. I can build this from nothing. You don't even know who you're messing with, bro. I also know that he has 2 friends that come from the States. He doesn't have any friends that I've ever seen in Costa Rica. I've never seen him have actual friends here, but he has 2 friends, and I know they follow me on TikTok. So, hi guys, when you see this and you share it with your little buddy, this is kind of a little shot for you to get him to stop. I'm still at the place where I will happily write down everything that I owe you and pay you, but you need to stop. Like, you can't keep doing this kind of stuff. I'm still okay with just you stopping, but you have to also take care of that denuncia and go to the cops and say you lied, which I don't think this guy will ever do. So he's 60 years old and the courts in Costa Rica take forever, so he could be 70 by the time this is solved. I'm 37. I got a couple years left. I'm just hitting my prime in this. And I'm not willing to give up all of my... I think there's some of my best ideas and my best recipes because I chose to work with the wrong person. That seems super silly. So yeah, the business will be fine without him, no matter how. I'm just really crafty, I'm capable and creative, and I'm the one who came up with literally everything except the money. So if I need to find a new investor, I'll do that. P.S. guys, I'm looking for a new investor so that I can just get this guy out of here, so just saying. But also, I have a Kickstarter. I'm going to be running a Kickstarter because realistically, I would like to give him back the laptop too so I don't have to deal with it, but I need a new one that I can't afford right now. And I would like to give him back the other things that are in his name so that I just don't have to deal with it. So here you go. You want the 2 TVs back, one of them we don't even use? Sure. You want the, food processor back that broke within 2 weeks? Sure, have it. You want the tablet back? Fine, have it. These are things that I can replace, but I need income to do that, and I need the shop to be open, and I need the things to run the shop. So basically, while I'm waiting for the corporation paperwork, it's Holy Week right now, so we can't do anything with paperwork. I'm running a Kickstarter to not only help me recuperate some funds from the corporation paperwork that I have to do, that I can't really afford right now either at the time of this video, and to also help me replace the items that he's accusing me of theft of. So with a Kickstarter, you can buy stuff, you can buy products, you can buy ebooks, and I'm also just looking for investors. So yeah, that's what I'll be doing. Did they ever contribute to the actual day-to-day work? For the most part, no. Nope, from building the business to conception to ideas to recipes, nope, everything was me. I decided what stuff we would have then in there, found all the suppliers, did literally every single thing. The website, search engine optimization, the recipes, testing the recipes, all the fillings, literally everything was all me. All he did was be transportation to drive us from San Jose to back and paying for the things. He also did some plumbing, which is severely leaking and destroyed all of the flooring that I put in and will now have to pay for to replace. Also helped put in a shelf that is probably gonna fall down any day, so I need to replace it. And anytime I would ask him for help, he would do it in the most lazy way possible. So we had a 3-pronged plug, and we needed a 3-pronged plug extension cord. And instead of just getting that, he bought the wrong one because he would never pay attention to what I wanted him to buy or ask, and then he would buy the wrong thing a lot, actually. So whatever, I had to get really patient about that. And instead of just going to get the right one, he just bends the 3-prong off. And he says, oh, well, you don't need it anyways. Okay, well, if you don't need it, why does it exist? I don't want to hear about it. Don't just break my stuff. If I'm technically going to be paying for all this in the long run, don't come in here and just break it. And he also put in a vent, which he just vented into the roof. So our donut machine has a lot of smoke because it runs on oil, it's shortening, and so it has smoke. And he put in a vent, he said, I'll put in the vent. He just vented it into the ceiling. I said, you can't do that, you have to vent it outside. There's other businesses in here. He said, it doesn't matter, they'll never know. Every single thing he tried to help me with was so lazy. Also, we went to put in the flooring. I spent the whole night putting in this click-lock flooring. I have a video of me doing it all. And I needed just a little bit extra finger strength to put in the last little bit because I didn't have quite the right wedge tool. And I said, hey, can you just help me pop this one thing in? First thing he does is just start smashing it with a hammer. First thing. After I'm literally had to cut like all these crazy angles, everything. I'm like, dude, I could smash it with a hammer. I'm not asking you to smash it with a hammer. Every single thing he did in there was so lazy and he has no actual work ethic whatsoever. And again, the body odor thing, every time he came in the shop and he would come without a shirt, I was like, oh great, here we go. Now I'm gonna have to smell him for the next 3 hours. It was just a horrible experience. And one time he got super mad at me because I don't need to put a timer for cookies. I've been baking cookies for 20 years. I can smell when they're done, and I was testing recipes, and he goes, why isn't there a timer? I said, well, I don't need a timer. And he just goes, if you don't put a timer, the Ticos will never make it right. And I said, I don't need to put the timer. I know how long it takes. Why aren't you writing it down? I was like, it's already written down. Like, what are you getting so mad? I don't even know what you're getting so mad about right now. And he's just rambling away. And then all of a sudden he goes, oh, sorry, sometimes I just get mad sometimes. That was a red flag. I should have put in the red flag video. Did he ever contribute? Also when the store opened? Not at all. Nope. He barely even showed up to the opening. He was there with his daughter for like 5 minutes. They showed up. I have a video of his daughter eating a donut, saying they're amazing. And they pretty much just left. They didn't help with, he didn't help. His daughter and a friend did say take some samples to the bar once and hand out some stickers for free, whatever. But yeah, on the most part, no. And he didn't help with the training, the day-to-day operations, nothing. If I needed something, he would go get it, but yeah, no, he didn't help with anything. Yeah, that's gonna end it for this video because it's already long enough. In the next video, I'm gonna be sharing more about how this affected me emotionally, I guess, and how I've been dealing with that. And if you have any other questions about what's going on, make sure you drop them in the comments because this situation is still ongoing. I have a few more videos to post, but until next time, stay tuned. P.S. You look cute today.